Hey, 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 welcome to the Virgo channel. My name is Lauren. I'm going to do a general message for Virgo, obviously. Now, know that energy is fluid, so roles can be reversed. Flip it, switch it, twist it. Just interpret the message as it best resonates for you. Now, if you are not a Virgo and interested in watching other sign placements, check out my Psychic Soul Healer channel. There, as I said, we do all the different zodiacs, and the style readings are the same. I specialize in doing shadow readings. So I will tell you what's going to happen in your life. However, I focus more on the blocks because, our blocks are what determines our psychological and our emotional reactions, which are where our behaviorisms come from. So if you're someone that has problems within your relationship, maybe sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off, sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off, causes a lot of emotional turbulence. Believe it or not, a lot of times it's because we have a block within inside of ourselves. We attract people like that to us. We teach people that it's okay to treat us certain way. So it's to understand why certain dynamics within your relationships unfold, why certain experiences unfold within your life. And it's also to understand that there's many different realities that play out at one time. And depending on your level of consciousness, is going to determine what your behaviorisms and actions are going to be. Your actions are based a lot of times on your behaviorisms and habits. And again, karma is based on your actions. So being able to integrate the spiritual lesson is inevitable in order to change your own perception as well as in order to heal. It's going to drive me crazy. I have to do it. It's my OCD. I can see it and I'm like, oh, that's going to drive me crazy. Okay. Now, without further ado, if you are new to my channel, you can find anything of any importance in the description box. You can find my website link, my Patreon links. By the way, I have 2 subscriptions going on for that are on my Patreon that are in relevance to psychic soul shadow coaching. Now, shadow coaching involves not only healing and again integrating, because that's really what healing is, the shadow aspects of yourself, and those are the parts of self that you've detached from, parts of yourself that are wounded. Well, this coaching program also includes inner child healing, past life regression. It also includes EFT, breath work, meditation, and a bunch of other healing modalities, because healing the effects of trauma is a process. We can't just heal trauma through creating a new awareness. We actually have to ground the spiritual lesson a lot of times. And if we've lived in survival mode, because trauma creates that response, we would also need to recondition our nervous system. We would actually also have to relearn how to integrate the body mind to work together. Because, like I said, trauma creates detachment and dissociation disorder. And so over time, when we stay in this level of consciousness where we're detached, our body is still holding on to all that energy, number one. And number two, we become, like I said, our body and mind doesn't work as well together as it should, because energy that's not integrated, that's just stagnant because it's of a low vibration, blocks not just our blood, but it blocks the energy that we take in. And that energy that we take in from the universe is universal energy, obviously, and it is also known as spirit, because spirit is ubiquitous. And so when we have blocks of energy held within our body. It's felt as stress. It's what becomes our energy vibration. It's what makes us a magnet of who and what is going to come into our life. So if we haven't learned the spiritual lesson, we will repeat that lesson, get that lesson again. That's why it says in scripture, what you resist persists. It's, if you don't learn it, you will again attract the same type of person, and again that type of person will trigger your wounds, obviously, so that you become aware of them. Unfortunately, a lot of times when we get triggered, we're not thinking about healing or integrating them. We're usually we're really stuck in our emotions. So learning how to integrate your trauma is not just awareness and body mind connection, but it's actually also learning how to deal with the emotional triggers in a way that's going to be more productive to you instead of sabotaging. Usually, our triggers are what sabotages us. This is how we get in our own way because they're just automatic. Because a trigger from a wound that is old that we have is, the subconscious mind takes over, and the subconscious mind is the same part of your mind that tells your heart to keep pumping blood, and it tells your brain how to walk without you being conscious of knowing, hey, I have to walk now. It certain things that your body automatically knows how to do without you having to become conscious of it. So again, heart beating, walking, anything anything having to do with your survival. So we can see how powerful our subconscious mind is. Well, our wounds are held within our subconscious mind. Our traumas are held within our subconscious mind. And they are actually what creates neurological pathways in our mind. So we all go in and out of consciousness. And the more trauma a person has experienced, the more unconscious they are, because it's a survival mechanism to go inward. However, if we're not reflecting or understanding, when we can understand why our energy then gets bogged down with more and more and more of the same types of energies, because you're a spiritual being, and you're a spiritual being acting like a magnet for the same type of energies, in order for you to be aware of what is blocking you from the unconditional love that you really are. See, a lot of times we wear masks, and those masks are the part of the self that, our ego is made up in order to justify the parts of self that we feel are defective. So it's like, I don't even want to say justify, because that's the wrong word, because justify is almost like saying that this is that it's okay that I'm defective. We wear a mask in order to not look at those parts of self that we feel are defective, not good enough, not worthy. Again, anything that separates us from love. And we do so because, again, consciously, the spirit wouldn't be able to go around feeling bad all the time about oneself. If we did, we'd be alcoholics, we'd be drug addicts, it's again doing more things to numb, because in feeling that there's something wrong with us, it creates a lot of emotional pain. It creates an energy that keeps us stuck. All right, now without further ado, we're going to pull a card to look at your archetypes first, what you're dealing with, you. And I believe it's a connection that you're in. And I wanted to look and see, what are the spiritual blocks that you have? What are the spiritual blocks that your person has? And how they, again, trigger each other, and how they play out within your experience, and what you need to do to balance out your situation. Now, does that all the time mean that you can easily balance out your situation? No. Sometimes, again, a situation will only balance itself out as much as you can balance yourself out, because the other person, it doesn't matter what you do, they're committed to whatever it is. If they don't want to make the relationship work, if they don't want to be in that type of relationship, a person can be stuck in their perception of what they want. However, many times people have trauma and they don't really know what they want. They form behaviorisms and habits that work as protective barriers. But in so, it winds up sabotaging the relationship, and that's not really what they wanted. So we have to look at the wounds and we have to look at the intentions, and then understand, as I said, there's many different realities that play out one single moment in time. Depending on your level of consciousness is going to be what you see, right? But there's many different realities depending on how you choose to play the game. Every action is a reaction, right? And karma is based on the reaction. So depending on awareness. However, when we're dealing with soulmate twin flame and there's blocks, there's a lot of triggers, and the reactions, the triggers aren't real. The triggers are that person's reality that's having the trigger, but is that really what's happening in the relationship? A lot of times, no. And is everyone reading everybody correctly? No, not if you're looking through distorted perceptions of the wound and not really what's happening. So that's why we want to really understand who we're dealing with, what they're dealing with, and also not just to try and balance out the relationship, but to see where we need healing, because we would not be pulling a person or a situation into our life that was really imbalanced unless we were somewhat imbalanced, and we needed to create awareness. Okay, so child orphan is the card that first dropped out. Now, when I see child orphan, it's again abandonment issues. Obviously, we don't feel like we have parents, then we're not really grounded. We never really feel grounded. We always feel like there's something wrong with us. Now, from 0 to 5 months old is when that root chakra is developed. And so when we're incarnated into the world and maybe we're born from a parent that has to give us up for adoption, we don't really know that, but if we know, a lot of times the parent that adopts us tells us that we were adopted. But many times I've had many clients that were never even told that they were adopted, but they kind of knew. There was an internal instinct knowing that they did not belong to the family that they were living in. That they were, even though the parents might have raised them from such a young age and treated them no different. So it's an internal thing. It doesn't mean sometimes we're born into families where we were actually related to the people and also feel like we're not related. That was me. I was born into a family where I was the black sheep of the family. I felt like an orphan because, again, of the differences. And the differences could be something as simple as everyone in my family, they were good students. I wasn't a good student. I didn't bring positive outlook to the family. So again, was seen as an orphan. That's one example. So you could, again, the person in this story could feel like they're an orphan. And it could be for something as simple as every single sibling had blonde hair, but I was born with black hair. That could be, again, it doesn't need to be right. Remember, the child orphan is the child self. The child self, the perception is going to be what is most logically that a child can understand. Because a child is going to want to see, why aren't they accepted? They know if they're not liked. They know if they don't fit in. They might not know how to articulate it, but they definitely know when people are accepting of them and when they're not. So this child orphan is more like, again, not feeling like that they fit in, that you fit in, not feeling connected to anything, not feeling like the black sheep, feeling not loved. There's bigger wounds, but the major wound really is abandonment. And what the problem is with this type of archetype is if we have a wound of abandonment, then we're always looking to not be abandoned. But we don't realize that we abandon ourselves. And again, because you got to love yourself first. So we can abandon ourselves through a relationship. We can abandon what our dreams and our passions and our hobbies are, that when we're on a walk, when we're on a spiritual path, right? When we abandon what we're doing because we're looking for love outside of ourselves. So again, the child orphan is kind of taught that, to look for love outside, to create support outside, because they weren't born with it. It's not something that they just take for granted. So this could be you, Virgo, or a person that you're dealing with, or both. You know, you're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. So like goes to like. So if you're dealing with a person that's in, out of your life, commitment phobic, again, child orphan, shadow will a lot of times act like that, like non-committal energy. Well, and the reason why, it's you're not going to abandon me, because you won't be able to abandon me, because I won't actually give you the stability. Like, you'll never really feel like emotionally connected to me, because that's really what childhood wound of feeling like you're an orphan is. Because the most basic needs, and really there's many people that get fed and they have a roof over their head, but emotionally they don't get what they need. And this is how it plays out later on within our relationships, that again, emotionally we're not getting what we need. Prince. So this is again dealing with, again, a prince. Now, a prince is not a king, like, obviously. So I always think that a prince is very flirty. A prince is someone that has the potential to be a king, but I'm just kind of feeling like it's a more like getting to know, wanting to get to know, let's see what else. Like, wanting, not a full-fledged relationship is what I'm feeling like. I'm feeling like, again, like more of a wanting to find oneself. So if I'm looking at childhood orphan, it's again trying to fill that emptiness by finding oneself, which is a very positive attribute here. Now, this is where you are, Virgo. There's a sense of feeling abandoned, and again, and always having that wound. So that's a wound that you were incarnated with, even before any relationship, anything. And I feel like, again, you're in the process of banking on yourself, trying to find yourself, investing in yourself. And it could possibly be because you were in a connection with someone that wasn't giving you, or you grew out of a situation. There are many reasons that what makes us put the energy into ourselves more so. And this is like, I don't feel like you're with anyone. Okay, and this is a child magical, seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, that belief that everything is possible. So it's either you or again, the person that you're connected to. So again, is very lighthearted, is very fun, very intuitive, very creative, very, again, all the elements. And what I like about this is because, like I said, the first two cards I pulled for you, and now again, it could be your person, take the message as it resonates, but that if you're dealing with somebody, the whole childhood magical is really the antidote to heal childhood orphan. And the reason why is because the kingdom of heaven's inside of us, right? So if we can imagine it, we can create it. So finding our passions helps us to connect to other people and situations that make us feel supported. So we wouldn't be able to feel like an orphan. So I feel, Virgo, that you are actually dealing with someone that feels like a childhood orphan, like again, someone that never felt connected to their family, that didn't get the nurturing that they needed and wasn't allowed to really express their feelings and emotions, and they're actually finding themselves. And I feel like you have crossed their paths and has gained their attention because of the way that you live. So I do feel like you know this person. Now, understand a lot of times soulmates, twin flames, they teach us different perceptions of life, and they do so through the fact that both parties live a lot differently. Their approach to life is different. And that's through perception, right? So when we live in a certain environment, grow up in a certain environment, we're going to see the difference. So if you were the one that was brought up in an environment where you didn't get the love and support that you needed, and then you're with people that grow up in an environment that got the love and the support that they needed and the structure that they needed, their perception of life is different, the way that they do things is different, their priorities are different, everything is different. Meanwhile, they'll be working with the same exact elements. It's just the way that it is. Now, this card fell out too. Two fell out, and the hedonist, which is inspired creative energy to embrace the good things in life. So this is, again, where I'm feeling like, Virgo, you are in a high energy right now. You're utilizing everything that's in your environment to help create yourself. And this is, again, very playful energy, because in the Bible, right, it says be like childlike, because children, they don't look at things like, oh, that's broken, or I can't use that. They utilize everything, whatever, and they use their imagination. So they might turn around and use pots and pans as like a drum set. They might use a box to sit in and pretend it's a treehouse. Again, they use what's broken, or again, it might not even be broken. It might just be not the right thing, the perfect structure for us to use to create ourselves, to find ourselves. But they utilize it. They utilize it anyway. They do the best that they can with no judgment. Problem is when we get older and we again have the mentality that no one supports us, a lot of times we can be more negative and shut ourselves off from opportunities because we don't see it as perfect, because we feel inadequate. If we feel inadequate because we didn't have parents, or felt like we didn't have parents, or felt like we didn't have the support from our parents, then we can understand how person then would begin to think negatively about just life. And so I feel like this is not the energy that you're in. You're in a completely opposite energy, which is why you have caught the eye of someone that I believe that you already know. And the other card that fell out is Judge. So I'm kind of feeling like, again, like I told you, I felt like you knew this person, and this proves it, because this is balancing justice and balancing justice and compassion. You know, managing a fair distribution of power. So again, I feel like you're in a very high vibration. The cards are in your hand. So if you are in separation from your person, this is your story, because I feel like the childhood orphan tends to always abandon themselves because they never feel like anything is really good enough. They're finding themselves. They're in a place of healing. You're in separation. You are in a very high vibration. The child magician, again, it really uses their creative imagination. You're really interactive in life. They're not afraid to experiment. Again, and the hedonist, it goes with that, which is all about inspired creative energy. So again, you're channeling your energy the best way that you know how. So you're probably investing a lot within your career, hobby. I feel like a lot of you guys are writers. A lot of you guys are um, do stuff that's creative, whether that's interior design, whether that's speaking, whether that's influencing. Again, the creativeness, which is kind of like a job that isn't as structured and left brained. Are there left brain elements? Yeah, but it's more considered a you have to really use your personality is what I'm getting at. And so your personality is your unique style. And so again, there's this sense of you becoming this high vibration because you are doing what you love and you're the way that you live life. However, I believe that the person that you're dealing with is not in a high vibration. They are in separation from you. They're not happy with where they are in life. You caught their eye, and for whatever reason, I'm feeling this. We're going to see. They're a little afraid to come towards you. And the reason why is because you're the person that has to judge them. I feel like they want to come back into your life. And the reason why is because judge, and that you would be called to like justice and compassion. You wouldn't be looking for any type of judgment unless this person, if they didn't treat you right. So the cards are held in your favor, but this person that you're dealing with, which is this prince type of energy, which again is not a king. So I'm feeling like they were very flirty, little immature, tended to promise a lot, tended to have, again, this in 1 foot in, 1 foot out, never really being emotionally vulnerable, never capable of expressing their feelings, never giving you anything, giving you very little, if anything. And so again, you walked away. I feel like they kind of felt like you were going to be devastated too. But let's see. And I feel like you proved them wrong because, again, you caught their eye. Now, let me just see. Okay, diplomacy. Yeah, they looked at you again like you're a high-class person. Like the way that you do things is on the up and up. Classy. They're not used to dealing with classy people. I feel like when this ended or you separated, they didn't really even know that it separated. I feel as if you were dealing with somebody that was a real player. And again, because this card kind of came out a little sideways, number one. So it wasn't 100% upright. But also just the vibe to it that this person, again, has this wound and they never healed the wound. Again, childhood orphan is not a good wound to have because there's always a sense of feeling inadequate, always feeling like one's not enough. It's a real root chakra imbalance. And when we have a root chakra imbalance, then there's a disconnect from ourselves, a disconnect from other people, and a disconnection from our creator. And a lot of times there can be addictions with that. There could be other things because a person doesn't feel as if they're capable to connect when really they are. They just have a perception because of they didn't get what they needed emotionally. And this could happen at any time, stage in life. But when we are a child, we can understand how it would get worse, a wound like this, because every relationship that we would go into, the same type of scenario would play out because we wouldn't heal it. We might try to heal it by overcompensating or undercompensating within our behaviorisms, but nevertheless, still getting the same type of result, which made us really not feel like we were able to connect on a deep level. When meanwhile, here you are. I feel like Virgo Mrs. or Mr. Friendly, emotional, kind, nice, loving, a lot of creative energy, a lot of intuitive energy. So again, the approach of life is so different. The So we know that the actions are a lot different. Narrow-minded, yeah, you're dealing with someone that's narrow-minded because of, again, that they need healing, and that's what happens when we need healing. Now, what are the samskaras? Samskaras are the wounds, right? They're energy. You're an energy being. You're in physical form to learn and to manifest. You're supposed to be learning. You're not separate from God through seeing your life through all different perceptions. A spiritual block is I'm stuck in that limited perception because I'm narrow-minded, because of the experience that I went through. But not until you integrate it will your situation really ever get better. So what happens is that I feel like this person that you're dealing with just continue to make their life a self-fulfilling prophecy through the belief that they had and never really changing anything. Because I don't really feel like they ever were inspired by anyone to change. And that happens too if we're, again, narrow-minded and we're coming from a very limited perception and we're living life and they come across you and you don't really know who they are because they didn't give enough time or enough energy, which they didn't. One foot in, one foot out. Never really giving because never wanting to be emotionally vulnerable because of afraid of abandonment because of, again, that wound. Then, we can see how this person would recreate the same type of experience over and over and over again and just not really even try after time. Okay, nostalgia. So again, so the person still has feelings though, because like I said, at one time they knew you, and I don't feel like they ever gave enough time, but when they look back on the connection that you have, they have sweet memories, and the sweet memories might not even be that sweet to you, but the simple fact that the relationship isn't toxic because you're not toxic, and the few memories that you had, they enjoyed those memories. So again, I feel like they're in a place of that. Now, you wouldn't be able to really heal and reflect on your behaviorisms or even a person that's not in your life unless there was a little nostalgia, right? Otherwise, why would we care? We wouldn't think about it. So again, we can see that there is a heart connection here because when there is, that's what makes us stop and reflect and be happy for those moments. And I feel like soften this person because the person that you're dealing with wants to be hard. It's like, and I feel like that's what happens when we feel like we've been abandoned and that we're not lovable. We shut down our heart. We become cold. But then here it is, your energy is the complete opposite. And they're like, would like to stay cold, but they're like, I really can't because you can't control love, even if it's not like this passionate love. It's like there's a connection here that is enough that, oh, I look back and it was nice, loneliness. And again, now they're lonely. And so truth of the matter is a childhood orphan emotionally didn't get what they need. It's bringing back that wound of loneliness, right? Which the answer is not to be by yourself and sulk and be hard, which is how this person was. They never really 100% let you in. It's to let you in, but they don't know how to do that. I feel like they see how you conduct your life again, and you're like the magician. And if you're a girl, then you're like the goddess, right? And like that high priestess, which is the equivalent to the magician, and where you're able to create your life effortlessly in this person's eyes. Whether that's true or not, again, everything's perception. And maybe they see you're always doing something, and you look good, you're interactive in your life, you have a lot of friends, you're always smiling. Or from, again, where they are lonely and sad, um, you might not even be as happy. Everything is perception. However, this is the way that they see you. But understand, it's you coming into their life has created awareness for them that there's other ways to live. And I believe that that's inevitably why you came into their life. Because even if you would be not with this person would have to change their life. You can't walk around forever as an orphan and stay lonely. You wouldn't be able to do it. I also want to see what your wounds are. And to all fairness, I'm going to put these wounds that your person has back in there, even though in nostalgia really is no wound, but that's almost like a, we could see I have nostalgia where I'm kind of stuck in the past, but I always get stuck in the past when, again, due to like what is transpired, but it's made me look at, like how I feel. That's where your person is, where I feel like the nostalgia was triggered for that particular reason, which is making this this person that I'm talking about, realize that they have feelings for you, which I don't really know whether they, again, childhood orphan, they usually cut themselves off so that they don't have to feel that. And I feel like they expected you to get upset because everybody gets upset with them because they know that they don't give anything, but you didn't get upset with them. You kept filling your life with more and more happy things and had a love affair in your own life. That's what is making your person be like, well, I want to find myself. I want to have a good time in my life too. Like something to mirror. So what are your wounds? What did this person bring up within you? Fear. I'm feeling, because the in, the out, the back and forth, and the sense of you feeling like maybe this person's not capable of emotionally giving you what you need. So again, like goes to like. I believe that you're both highly sensitive people. However, there is such a thing as a left brain highly sensitive and a right brain highly sensitive. You are a right brain highly sensitive, creative, intuitive, where this person is a left brain sensitive, which is very logical, analytical, very detail oriented, very structured. So we're talking about opposite spectrums. You, again, are verbal and can express yourself very well. This person, again, doesn't know how to express themselves, doesn't feel comfortable with their emotions. You're all about the emotions. So we can see, again, the paradox of differences here. And we could also feel the paradox that now you have held inside of you, where it's like, I care about this person, I can feel this connection that I have, but they're also triggering a lot of fear inside me. And so anxiety, worry, and depression. So I don't really believe that you let it get to the place of depression, but the whole worry and anxiety, if you don't trust the person, because they're continually showing you something. So you could have grown up in an environment where you had a parent that was, again, there but not also, and emotionally didn't give you, because a lot of times it's the same wound that our soulmate has. It's just not channeled out in the behaviorisms the same way, right? Where I feel like your person goes inward. And again, I feel like you go outward. You, again, meaning this person can hibernate, isolate, be stuck up in their mind, where I feel like you're in your body interactive and you might run from it. Like you're not hiding out. Nevertheless, it's like being with a person and that's not capable, that's very narrow-minded, you would have the fear, you would have the anxiety, which no one wants to be in a relationship like that, obviously, no matter how much we feel connected to a person. This again, and the reason why is because they acted aloof. And that is what I felt. It's like the lack of caring, the lack of that person being emotional supportive. So here they have a wound because they didn't get enough. And so they have feelings for you, but they don't give anything because they were taught that pretty much. So that created a lot of anxiety and worry inside of you, which triggered you. And it triggered you. Triggered you to, again, ignored. You felt ignored. It triggered, like, again, like, it felt like you weren't valued, like you weren't important. So this person actually projected what they feel onto you to make you feel that way, but you wouldn't have been able to feel that unless you had that wound yourself. So that's why Spirit brought this person into your life. Now, how did you trigger this person? Because it doesn't look like you did anything, but it doesn't really matter. Like, if you didn't do anything, because a person is narrow-minded, they're going to see whatever is, again, their reality. It's everyone's reality is their reality due to their perception. But is it really what's happening? No. But I do believe that this person did go out of their way to make you feel ignored because, again, they don't feel comfortable with their emotions. Maybe not as much as they meant to do it, but there's a sense of them being detached, not wanting to be vulnerable, like I said. So in that, always overcompensating through their behaviorisms to make it look like they're stronger on an emotional level. They don't want to seem weak. They don't want to seem as if they need anyone. Forgotten. Again, this is like, you still feel like you were invisible. And I kind of feel like this is what your person expected. Because I said I was pulling for the other person, but that's it. Because I was like, still okay. I got the fact that you felt ignored, Virgo. But what this is saying is like, oh, they both felt ignored. They both felt forgotten. See, your person had 1 foot in, 1 foot out, I believe, hoping that you would chase them. Because they have this wound of being abandoned. So in order for them to feel good, they need for people to give them more. You didn't do that. You put your energy into yourself again and didn't create a ruckus because this person didn't give, didn't say anything. You detached. I don't even believe that they noticed that first because they expected a fight, an argument. So this person kept trying to trigger you and you never got triggered. Instead, you put the energy into yourself, which made this person feel forgotten, which made them stay stuck in that energy of feeling not loved. However, it triggered you too, where you were like, well, I felt forgotten, but instead when I detached, I put my energy into this. Again, became a hedonist, which is inspires creative energy to embrace the good things in life, celebrates the beauty in oneself. So was utilizing your gifts, and that could be, again, just working more on your job, could have been trying to get more into shape. It could be, again, just investing more into yourself and didn't do anything. And that inspired this person, believe it or not. Because remember, we change people through, again, changing ourselves. And if there is a spiritual connection, one with the heart, right? Again, we know when we've met a spiritual connection, there's an instantaneous soul connection. So that's really, again, makes us want to stay there. Even if our mind is like, I don't like this person. Our mind can say, I don't like this person for this reason, this reason, this reason, this reason. All those reasons are right. However, unconditional love transcends lifetimes, and we can't destroy it. You can't end it. You can't demolish it. You can't. It's when all else is gone, the only thing that's left is what's good, and that's the unconditional love. And that's really in this story. Like, after all this bullshit of this person in, out, not wanting to show you emotion, not giving because of their own wound, it brought up your wound. But there could still be this unconditional love there, where this person might be in their ego. Let's see. But a lot of times, if this person is sitting there noticing everything that you're doing, and it instills change within them, then the relationship from a spiritual level was successful. Because on a spiritual level, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether or not you're going to be together. What's important is whether or not you evolve. You evolve into the highest state of consciousness, whether you heal, because you're down here to learn. You're not separate from God, which is unconditional love, through seeing yourself through all different perceptions. So you might have just come into this person's life to create that, but there would still be sorrow, and we would still know, and we're going to look at the hidden truths to know, how do they feel? I love you. So I believe that there is this unconditional love, and that's what I was saying. Because the person sat there long enough and has been watching you for a long time. I think at first they were angry, because it's like, I have this wound. I expected you to chase me, fight me, do something to, like, again, prove to me how much you cared. You didn't do that. That made me angry. That made me hurt. This is your person. However, as the time passed, my anger wasn't as mad. I'm not as angry anymore. I'm not as angry. What remains is, over time, is, I miss that person. Ugh, I love that person. It's a real connection, because you can't control love. And I believe that your person wanted to control love. They were very narrow-minded. They had very strict and rigid ways, and could have even been, you're supposed to act this way, look this way, do this way, and you're none of those things. And that's why you caught their eye and showed them a different way. Otherwise, they wouldn't have stuck around long enough to learn. So it was the difference of you, and then, again, making them look at themselves, making them grow, so we can see that this really is divine connection. It's time for me to heal now. That's what I said. I created the change in them. What are your hidden truths? Now, all to be fair, I'm going to put these two cards back in the deck and see again. Make sure that all the cards are going the right way. Okay, because I'm just going to pull two to see what your hidden truths are about the person. We will be together again. I wish I could share my good news with you. So you miss this person, and you again are holding space. And I think that you know that this person is sorry and is trying to make their way back to you, because it was a soul relationship, and that soul's relationship, again, are all about creating awareness. Now, what can we do to balance out this? Again, what should we know? What should we do? Because just because two people decide to get together and make it work because there is feelings, they see life through such different perceptions. That's not going to change. There's certain things, the dynamic of the relationship, in order to create these new awarenesses that are also triggering. So what can we do to, again, balance out, to be more open? If I recall, that's what to be more open means, to have our heart more open. What would we need to do? A new opening, literally. When one door closes, I am confident another will open, and it will be for my betterment. I accept that life brings challenges and acknowledges the opportunity and learning this present to me. So I would say that being that both parties want this, it would mean like, even though that door shut in during that time with the relationship as it was, that you'd have to meet this person like they're a brand new person. You're a brand new person. They're going to treat you in a whole new, brand new way. That's number one. Anymore. And that's hard to do because it means that we have to really forgive and let go and not look for the person to do what they did before. So it might sound easy, but it's not. And let's see, we'll pull this one. It says vitality. I am being of light. I accept the divine energy in my body, in every cell. So again, the green, I represents the heart chakra. Is opening up that heart chakra wide. And it's to understand that, that you're protected, that you are loved. The person that you're connected to is loved. You can feel that connected to them. That, again, people are allowed to make mistakes. I would say you would need to do more communication, have more communication, action. And again, like this person and you both putting in enough action, which really is effort, into the relationship, because this is my divine action ignites love and harmony. I'm aware of my thoughts and drive by positive forces. I listen to my heart, my desire to manifest light, transform tests into growth, challenges into opportunities, and fear into love. So again, the actions. I would believe that this might even be a twin flame relationship where both parties are just so different in their take of life, and that they're brought into each other's life to create balance, which means that both parties also had one point very closed heart chakra due to, again, feeling abandoned. Again, it all started with this child orphan, and again, you feeling forgotten, ignored, and that the person really didn't care, like, again, put much effort in, which cemented that feeling. So like goes to like. So the only thing that's going to open up that heart chakra, which is said to add more vitality, which when we're talking about that heart chakra, it means open it up, and that's through action, that's through doing, that's through, again, communication, again, this energy. And to realize if we're going to be in this relationship with this person, that we have to treat it like it's a brand new relationship. We can't bring in all that garbage from the past where they were in, they were out, they were this, they were that. If they have this recognition that they want to be with you and they want to fix it, then you got to allow them to do it. And it shows that you want to. So again, it's going to be challenging because remember, when someone hurts us and triggers those old wounds, you got to walk through the fire in order to integrate them. It's, again, this is an opportunity, and you wouldn't stick around long enough unless there was unconditional love. This person does have that feeling for you. You do to them. You might be on off for a long time, on off because you get so frustrated with this person. Then it's back on. And at the end of the day, what you're learning is there's no separation from love. You can never be lonely. You can never abandon, because unconditional love never dies. And that's why this person and you are connected right now, because it's a very difficult relationship. It's one that's making you change, heal, grow, and dig out those wounds. So I'm going to leave it there, Virgo. If you resonated with this message, give me a like, comment the word in the description box. I don't remember what the word was that we pulled, but I'll pull another one just to say the word day that you can put in the description box is naturalist. Okay, so you either put the word that I said in the beginning. If I said one, if I didn't, then just put the word naturalist in your comment bar. You know if I chose you. If I wrote the word winner underneath your comment. If I did, we will correspond back and forth here on YouTube. And don't worry about the link. You will get that link the day that we both decide to do the live stream reading for you. All readings are done live stream, by the way. And it'll be really easy for you to find. So don't worry about that. A lot of people ask me, I can't find the link. How am I going to find the link? Very easy. Like I said, the day we decide on, I just posted that day of underneath the word winner, or where we've been corresponding back and forth. All right, I'll talk to you guys all soon. Bye.